And good morning, everyone. I'm Ellie Merritt in the NBC4 studios. We are breaking in right now because we have a report of an active shooter situation on the Ohio State University campus. In fact, OSU sent out this tweet, a Buckeye alert, active shooter on campus, hide, fight. That's Watts Hall, 19th and College. We have NBC4's Rick Reitzel near campus right now.
Police, sheriff's office, and OSU police all here. And now they're getting a canine out here. You can see they're taking a canine into, they've taken a canine from the sheriff's office into the building. So we have a lot of officers here with a lot of heavy weapons.
Rick, just hold tight there. I want to get some new information in. We have just heard that one person has been transported to the hospital with injuries from this active shooter situation on the Ohio State University campus. Now, OSU Emergency Management did send out a couple of tweets about an hour ago telling students around Watts Hall to take shelter and for all other students to avoid that area near the campus.
But we just don't know for sure exactly whether there is a shooter on the loose at this point, but as long as this Buckeye alert is in place, you know, certainly the word to folks here on campus is to stay in place, shelter in place, stay out of the way until we know more about what's going on here and get some additional information from authorities. And
that is exactly what OSU police have just tweeted out here in the last minute. Continue to shelter in place in North Campus area. Follow the directions of police on the scene.
We were pushed back here from Tuttle Park and Neal, where this is where that Lane Avenue garage is at. Columbus Police and SWAT pushed us back. Now they've just brought one person out we saw from the garage and they're questioning him. They have the K9 unit there. You can see all of the SWAT vehicles from Columbus Police and from the sheriff's office.
I wanted to let you know that I spoke with the department chair. He said he was the department chair for the ceramic engineering section. I believe that's what it's called at Watts Hall. He was not here. He said he came to work late. He was not here when it happened, and he didn't want to go on camera, but he said that he understands that one of his colleagues, one of the professors inside the building, was slashed in the leg with a machete. That's what he has been told. He is trying to confirm that, but that's what he, as the department chair, said he has learned about one of his colleagues from inside the building.
Ellie, we are on West Woodruff Ave right now, just off of High Street. I want to just show you all of these medic vehicles that are lined up right here. There are vehicles from Columbus Fire Department, Mifflin Township, Upper Arlington, a number of different agencies. I also saw a Homeland Security, Federal Protective Services vehicle come in earlier. There are crowds of people standing around here in front of Ramsier Hall. There are just people standing and watching, as you can see here in front of us. The police tape is up.
We just talked to an OSU senior, Scott Beadle. He told me he was coming out of the CPAC building, which is over off of Woodruff, and he said it was just sheer panic, people running, and then as he came down the sidewalk he saw a body. We're not sure whether they were alive or dead. He showed me a picture of a body laying on the sidewalk along Woodruff. Now I'm kind of taking shelter here myself behind a car because they've pushed us back, and they say they have an active shooter inside of that garage that we talked about on Lane Avenue. You just keep seeing more and more SWAT officers.
Ted, we can now confirm, police officials on the scene confirm for us that the suspect, one suspect, is confirmed dead.
Ellie, I'm with a gentleman by the name of Morgan. Morgan, one more time, can you tell us what, this is your wife, was inside Watts Hall this morning?
And they evacuated her originally
because an alarm?
Fire alarm went off, so they were all outside. Then someone came through, hitting them with their car, hitting people with the car. That's all she knows. She obviously ran at that point, and they are hiding in one of the buildings at this time, waiting for the police to come get them.
Give them the all clear?
Yes.
Did she hear any shots fired or see any weapons of any sort?
Not that she told me. Like, she immediately obviously started running, so.
What she saw was a car come through and just randomly hitting people.
From she said she was about 20 feet away when this happened, so.
We are standing here outside of the Wexner Medical Center. If I step out of the way, you can see a couple of police cars out front, but other than that, it's actually pretty quiet. I did just speak with an OSU spokeswoman. However, she tells me of the victims involved in this, 4 of them have been brought here to the hospital. Right now, the hospital is operating, I'm told, and I'm going to quote, under normal operations. So normal operations here at the hospital. Now, that spokeswoman did also tell me that at this hour, they are not expecting any more victims to come here. But again, 4 so far brought to the Wexner Medical Center. All of the other victims have been taken to other area hospitals. Of course, we're just a few feet away from the spokeswoman who continues to update us. And as we learn more, we're going to bring it to you.
My office is in Seebeck, so I'm looking down over 19th Avenue now. And basically, as soon as I got up and looked out, there's a dead body close to the loading dock for Kofold. And it was just a person lying there. Blood was starting to pool. There were a lot of police around, a lot of people running around. The body's still there. There's a sheet over it now. You can see the blood soaking through.
They've lifted this shelter in place. They've lifted this Buckeye alert now, but still a very large police presence there on the Ohio State University campus. And to let you know, this is the North Campus area. That parking garage was just near Lane. It was just north of the Blackwell Hotel off Tuttle Park in Neal Avenue.
You went outside for a fire drill, and you were just going back inside.
We were just going back inside, and we heard the shooting and the yelling and the place erupting into chaos. And by the time we got up to our window to look out to see what was going on, the cops were already on scene, running down because they were already here for the fire drill. And but it was several moments of chaos.
And you then did what?
We barricaded ourselves in our rooms, which we were supposed to, since it was right outside our door, and just hunkered down, kept an eye on Facebook, kept an eye on the news.
Around 9:52 a.m., the Emergency Dispatch Center got a report that a vehicle had struck pedestrians.
Chaos on campus, and it only got worse. A car plows into a crowd of students, and it's no accident.
There's kind of high-speed sound. At first I felt some car might have some lost control, but then I saw the car being, it was intentional hitting of students. So
dozens of students poured out of OSU's Watts Hall because of a fire alarm. They were crowded together when the car hit. That's when the driver started swinging a knife.
He got out with his knife and started chasing a student with it, swinging at him.
A man triggered a fire alarm, and when students evacuated the building, he started slashing at them with a knife, and the police are calling it a machete.
Some students ran to help the injured. Then they ran for their lives.
Thought maybe I could help some of the injured people there, and that was until I heard gunshots. And after the gunshots, I fled into the basement of Watts Hall.
An OSU officer happened to be near Watts when the pedestrians were hit. The right place at a dreadful time.
At 9:53, an OSU PD officer called out on the radio that shots were fired. He engaged a suspect who had gotten out of the vehicle after hitting pedestrians. The suspect cut multiple individuals. The officer engaged the suspect and shot and killed the suspect.
911, where's your emergency?
Hi, I'm at Ohio State, right outside of Watts Hall, and there was a guy crashed his car into a bunch of people and ran out with a knife chasing down people.
Shock and horror on the Ohio State University campus as an attack leaves 11 people injured. The suspect is dead.
Tonight, we're learning more about the suspect and the officer who helped stop the attack. Now, the attacker has been identified as Abdul Razik Ali Artan. He was an OSU student and legal permanent resident of the United States from Somalia. Police say he drove a car right into a crowd on campus, then got out of the car and started stabbing and slashing people. Within 2 minutes, police say that OSU police, Alan Horchikal, shot and then killed Artan. We have live team coverage tonight. Olivia Fecto is live at a prayer vigil for the victims of that attack. Tyler Carter is live with more information on how those victims are doing.
Matt Edwards is live at a Columbus residence that is being searched right now. Police believe it is connected to the attack. But we begin tonight with Ted Hart, live on the OSU campus where he has been throughout the day, with more on exactly what happened during this hectic assault. Ted?
And Colleen, the police response was swift and massive this morning, and for a couple of hours there was just this uncertainty that hung over the campus, the north end of the campus, because they didn't know for sure whether there might be another suspect or more suspects still at large on campus. In the end, though, as you said, there was just one suspect who was shot dead by a police officer within a couple of minutes of the suspect having driven his car into the crowd of students and then jumping out and lunging at students with a knife. Students and staff were told to shelter in place, that there was an active shooter situation, and they did. They hunkered down in bathrooms, they hunkered down in dorm rooms and in classrooms. They barricaded themselves inside those rooms. One of the students that we spoke to was a fourth-year engineering student who had been in Watts Hall, went out with the fire alarm and witnessed the accident, and then after heard gunshots, he took shelter in the basement of Watts Hall with a number of others. Here's what he had to say. So you were in the basement with a professor who was one of the injured?
Yes, I was.
How badly was he hurt?
A lot of blood coming out of his ankle. Yeah, it looked pretty serious. He was calm, surprisingly calm. He took everything really well. He walked himself down there. We just made him sit down, try to elevate his ankle. We looked for a first aid kit and just waited for the paramedics to get there.
That professor was later identified, confirmed by his daughter as William Clark, a professor of engineering here on campus, and he was among those who was taken to the hospital to be treated. And at this point, we saw about half an hour ago, they drove away with a tow truck. They drove away the suspect's car. The crime scene search investigators have been here throughout most of the day, collecting any bits of evidence that there might be here at the crime scene. As I say, they did haul the car away here within the last hour. That's the latest from here. Back to you, Mike and Colleen.
Alrighty, thanks so much, Ted. Now, right now, Columbus police are searching a Columbus home believed to be connected to the vehicle used in that attack. NBC4's Matt Edwards is live with more on what's going on at that location. Matt?
Mike, the crime took place on campus, but the trail has led law enforcement to this apartment complex about 12 miles away on the west side of Columbus. And perhaps some clues as to why this happened will be found at this residence, which NBC4 has learned has ties to that vehicle used in the attack. As you had mentioned, the registration led police and law enforcement back to this area on the west side. As for the door that they've been guarding, the apartment they've been guarding, neighbors say it's not unusual for a high volume of activity to be seen at the home.
I mean, there was a lot of people that went in and out of their house regularly. Of course, they had a lot of family, which, I mean, I don't know if you've seen today, which a lot of them went out in police cars, which there was probably about 20 of them that they took away in the police cruisers today.
And police have been on the scene now for about 8 hours, and I can tell you for about the last three and a half hours, it's been a pretty stagnant scene. As I'm told, the Franklin County Sheriff's Department is currently guarding the scene to wait until federal authorities can show up at the residence and conduct their own investigation. And again, the suspect, the vehicle he was in, believed to be tied to this residence. We're not sure if he lived here, if it's a place he frequented, but certainly after 8 hours of law enforcement being here, they certainly believe they have reason to search the area. Live on the west side of Columbus tonight, Matt Edwards, NBC4.
Thanks so much, Matt. Now, some of the victims were hit by the car driven by the suspect. Others were stabbed, as you heard, when he jumped out of the car swinging that knife. All of them ended up at 3 local hospitals. NBC4's Tyler Carter is live at the OSU Wexner Medical Center with more on the victims. And Tyler, I know 6 of them were taken there.
Yes, Colleen, we did learn through a press conference earlier, not too long ago, that there are now a total of 11 victims. Like you said, 6 of them were taken here to Ohio State Wexner Medical Center.